Hello and happy Valentine's Day. It is Joel Barnes. I'll be your host for this story time edition of Share the Podcast. It is Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2026. And this is a love letter to H. I want to tell you guys a story. The story of the love of my life. To accurately tell this story, I have to give you a bit of a recap as to how we got here in the first place. On June 11th, 2007, Hannah Marie Barnes was born. Her mother and I had a 2.5 year relationship, but we decided to co-parent this new chapter of life. I had no idea how difficult yet exactly right that decision was going to be. I never imagined having a child outside of wedlock to begin with, but I also never imagined having to split time and over half of her life, half of her days, half of her nights not being under the same roof as me. Over the next 18 years, it felt like God was forcing my hand at faith because I knew more than anything that I had to trust her with him on the days and the nights that I wasn't around. Of course, I trusted her mother with her safety, but to not be part of her life in any capacity for half the time, it hurt enough for me to actually surrender that pain over to God. That was a whole nother faith story. Of course, like any parent, co-parent, joint partnerships, families, there have been a lot of ups and downs over the last 18 years. You know, you really never know if you're making the right decision for your kids and their upbringing. But I would say that there have been more than enough affirmations as to the right route being taken here. In this case, where Hannah could have two happy homes instead of one potentially tumultuous one. We actually haven't shared too much about her current season, the current chapter of life that we're in right now. But I asked permission from my daughter Hannah to share our most recent time. First of all, I want to say to you, Hannah, I am so proud of you. So proud of you. Happy Valentine's Day, my love. I wanted you to kind of hear some of my reflections in this moment about your journey, about the woman that I think that you are becoming, and just what I'm watching you grow into in front of my eyes. You are so worthy of celebration. You are so worthy of love and admiration. You are so worthy. Never forget, my love, that as much as I love you, your Father in heaven loves you so much more. You are loved. You are so worthy. No matter where life takes you, always try to get back to the place where you remember that. As we wrapped up high school, of course, the natural progression is to look into schools and to figure out what college plan would be. We never pressured Hannah into doing anything. We were definitely resolved to being support around her in any direction that she wanted to go. The college admission process was fun and exciting. So many acceptance letters and financial rewards and invitations. It was great. As we decided to move forward into further exploration of Loyola University as Hannah's next step, I started to notice that there was a passion for the process that was beginning to wear thin. I felt more anxiety than I felt peace, or joy, or excitement. Parents, this is where I want to talk to you real quick. As you spend time with your kids and you get to know your kids and you get to see your kids passionate about certain things or more distant from others, don't be afraid to gently remind them of what you see going on. I think there is a way to navigate this life partnership that you have with your kids without being demeaning or dismissive or condescending. Now, this was not the way that we were brought up. So remember that. Our generation got a lot of tough love and the forceful push to do something that our parents had not experienced. We had to go to college, even though many, if not most of our parents did not. Those that went to college had a better life. And at all costs, our parents deeply desired for us to have a life better than theirs. But parents, times have changed. The options are not the same as they were when we were growing up. Understanding evolving technology and a new world order is going to be more important for us supporting our kids than ever before. Also, I want to gently remind every parent out there with a kid that has experienced the pandemic. Our kids have had a significant chunk of their social development, their resourcefulness, their decision-making processes that have been significantly affected by the trauma induced during that season. I would also like to gently remind you that growing up in a social media driven world has vastly changed our kids' outlook of the world. I think that it was through consideration of all these facts and more, with partnership and prayer and conversation with God, that it was clear that we had to make a different decision than rushing her right into school. For the last 5 years, my mom has flown Hannah to Florida for a week or two with grandma. It has been pure joy for my mom, for Hannah, for my family that has gotten to see Hannah. It has been one of the happiest parts of our family every year. When Hannah got back from her trip, we were supposed to be kind of making some pretty significant moves to pull the trigger on college. But I think I quickly realized that we might be on the wrong path. After a hard conversation, an emotional conversation, one with tears and hugs and vulnerability, we decided to call Loyola that day and cancel her registration from college. As I had been praying for Hannah while she was gone, kind of about this next chapter, I felt like God gave me a plan for how to handle it. I didn't know at the time that he was trying to show me that this was a pause of the plan, and that was now necessary. I believed that we were going to execute this plan as she started her first year of college. It wasn't until this moment that I realized that this plan was better suited to a gap year. But this was not just any gap year plan. This had become a health year plan. And I'd love to go so much more in depth about this plan, but for the sake of this piece, I'm going to keep it relatively simple. In order to pull off this healthier plan, we both committed to it being a non-negotiable plan. It is not a year off from school. It's not a vacation. It's not a live off mom and dad for a year experience. We committed to an outlined plan that had 5 major pillars of health work that we were going to do: physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and financial health. In each of the 5 categories, we set realistic goals. Some of the goals were set to be achieved during the full year time span. Some of the goals were set more short term, more immediate. Some things we just needed to do in order to even start the process. After we set goals for each category, we went back through and we set up a to-do list for how to start, continue, and achieve her goals. I think a big part of beginning this process as a parent was the understanding that this has to be her project and also understanding that she doesn't know what she doesn't know. There have been so many firsts in the last 6 or 7 months of this process. First time balancing a budget, first time paying bills, first time responsible for your own self and not having a schedule kind of attached to you. It has been a consistent swing between me being hands off and then me being hands on. And, there have been a lot of mistakes that have been made, if I'm being honest. And what largely keeps us on track through this whole thing, it has been just good and healthy and vulnerable communication. We do an intentional check-in every couple months or so. We go through each goal in relation to the progress. There have been things that she's already knocking out of the park. We also had to reevaluate what healthy progress even means. I was telling a friend of mine who is a therapist about this whole year idea and this whole healthier concept. And she thinks that there's a lot more value here for parents that are in this kind of gap year, healthier space. And I'm doing some work to better organize our approach to the plan and give some loose suggestions on what might work for others. But for this piece, I wanted to just kind of highlight the work that my young woman daughter has been doing. Hannah, I said it earlier, but I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud of the woman that you're becoming. We've been through a lot, kid. You've been through a lot. I know that me being hurt has been a lot on you. I've watched you grow in empathy in the face of my adversity. And yeah, it hasn't always been easy. And like any other parent-kid relationship, we've had our moments of butting heads or disagreeing. But through every hard conversation that we've had, we've gotten better and better and better. Not just as seeing each other for where we are, but seeing each other for who we are. And also understanding how to be better in relationship with who we are. I talked to Uncle Kyle a lot lately, and I was telling him the other day that I hope that he has a conversation with his daughter where they both cry and hug it out. I feel like our most important conversations and deepest shifts have come from moments like that. Thank you for being a safe space for me. I don't take it lightly because I haven't asked for it from you on purpose. I've always wanted to be your safe space. I've never wanted you to carry more than you had to. I just wanted you to be a kid. But as you have stepped into adulthood and as you do your work, it is clear that your shoulders are getting so much broader. It is clear that your heart is growing in size. It is clear that your mind is getting clearer by the day. I've been watching your confidence build in this latest healthier season, and it's been so good to see. Keep working your plan. Keep reflecting on the trajectory of your path with the relationship to your goals. Keep giving yourself grace for stepping off the path and even veering off at times. You can get back there. When we did our last check-in, you were a bit upset about the progress that you've made on a couple of your goals. I thought about this conversation a lot since we've had it. I'll reiterate something about that conversation to you today for Valentine's Day. Out of your 5 categories, health, mental, emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual, I think you are killing it at the most important of the 5. Your spiritual pursuit of a relationship with God is the most important thing you could do on any goal sheet. It's funny because I was the most self-conscious about this exact goal for you. I did not want to overly influence your decision to pursue a relationship with Jesus in any extra way. I know that living with me as a wackadoo pastor type is already a lot. You hear me on the phone, you see what I'm working on, you get the random convos at your bedroom door about the crazy thing God just showed me. And I know that that is a lot. I know it is. And I don't take it for granted that you're always so encouraging, even if you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. Matter of fact, in this moment, I'm remembering a couple years ago, I said to you, hey, what would you think if I just committed to doing ministry full time? And you were like, yeah, why would I have a problem with that? It's what you do already anyway. It's like one of the most encouraging things that anyone's ever said to me was to just honestly hold up a mirror and be like, hey, yeah, it's what you're doing. And I have not looked back since that day, kid. I have not looked back since that day. I gotta find my part in the script again. Hold on. Okay, I got it back. But I think more than anything, I have just wanted for your relationship to be your relationship with your Father in heaven. So I think I pushed for the spiritual goal the least. However, you have embraced it the most. A couple of the things on your spiritual to-do list were that you wanted to go to church every Sunday and to memorize a couple songs that we do in praise and worship. Not only have you barely missed a Sunday in the last 7 months, but I think you probably know like 10 songs. And not only that, but you went through a full round of alpha. Trust me, kid, I know you weren't feeling it, and I love you so much for staying dedicated to it, though. I'm so proud of you. You know what I'm saying? For keeping on, even though like you just it wasn't your thing, and that's okay. You did it. You completed it. You committed to it, and I'm proud of that. Matter of fact, as I write this, tears well up in my eyes because I can remember faintly hearing you sing in month 1. And then a little bit louder by month 3. But there's just something that is so beautiful about standing next to you and hearing you praise God from the depths of your soul and your diaphragm being used to push the air out of your lungs into a worship song. There's nothing like it. The power that you sing with now is evidence of the Spirit of God growing in you. You are killing it, kid. You are bringing it to God more and more every week. And here's what I'll tell you about all that as a guy who's gone through a couple things in the last couple years. As long as you spiritually are connected to Him and you are spiritually pursuing Him, all the other stuff falls in line. All right, we might be a little bit off on the physical goals. God, help us get back on track. We might be a little short on financial goals. God, show us what do we need to see? What do we need to learn? Where are you pointing us? Where do you want us to be? We might not be okay mentally. God, show us the therapist to help. Lead us to the small group to get support. Renew our minds, God. Emotionally, we might be all over the place. God, you gave me emotions as a gift of humanity. Where am I unhealthy? Where should I work to improve this part of the gift that you've given me? Everything can filter through the lens of spirituality, of your connection and relationship to God. He is your helper, kid. And you've leaned into that. And I'm so proud of you for that. I've seen a lot of people have their shit together physically or financially or whatever, but they aren't glowing the way you are, kid. You walk around and radiate love and empathy. You already are so emotionally intelligent that you can preserve your energy in a room where you feel like it's being drained by others. You've told me that. We've walked around and talked about how you've consoled friends and reminded them of their value. I've overheard you comparing notes about what you've learned at church day and asking your friends about what they've learned at church. Matter of fact, tomorrow you're bringing one of your friends to church with you. You're right on track, kid. You're not behind. You're healthier than you were 7 months ago. You locked in. You did that. I'm so proud of you. You are a diamond in a rough, rough world. Be encouraged and be patient. God has set aside a man for you. Until you meet him, do not settle. I know that this advice is not easy or fun. Probably not even what you want to hear from dad. But trust me, he's got you. Keep doing the work and letting God lead the way. I love you so much. Happy Valentine's Day. Love, Dad.